University of Georgia. This is Grady Newsource.
Good evening. Welcome to Mock Show 570. A new rider service is getting rave reviews. I'm Michelle Brookman, and I'll have that story for you later.
And I'm Jordan Dawson, but our top story tonight, death on Georgia highways. Recent data from the Georgia Department of Transportation has released reports that the number of car fatalities in Georgia are rising. We sent Abby Dorr to find out if Athens-Clarke County is also seeing a difference. Abby, what have you found out?
Jordan, sadly this increase is not just affecting people in the state, but also people a little bit closer to home. Athens resident Caroline Stoltz is experiencing these after effects as she has just recently lost someone in a fatal car accident, and she has a few words of advice for all of the drivers out there.
One of my good friend from high school just did recently, we're not even really sure what happened. He just ended up going off a bank and he didn't make it. So it's a wake-up call when anybody that young gets killed.
Lieutenant Eckert of the Athens-Clarke County Police says he is not sure why there has been such an alarming increase this year.
I don't know what's going on this year. I mean, we had a pretty good year last year, and like I said, not just Clarke County, but statewide. I know last year we had 9 fatalities, and this year we're up to 12 already, and the year's not over yet. So,
Lieutenant Eckert also says you can never be 100% sure that you will be safe on the road, but following these tips might make your drive a little bit safer. First, you want to make sure that you buckle your seatbelt. Second, be sure that you put away any electronic devices or anything that might distract you from staying on the road. Third, be sure to check your mirrors. After her experience, Caroline says she hopes others will follow the lieutenant's tips, but she also has one piece of advice herself.
If you drive recklessly, I promise that you will get in a wreck at some point. And so just slow down. I mean, whatever you are rushing to, it'll be there when you get there. So.
Eckert also wants to stress the importance of not driving while drunk or under the influence of drugs. He says this is still one of the biggest problems in the Athens area, and he just wants to remind the community that what each and every one of us does behind the wheel affects not only our safety, but also the safety of everyone else.
The Georgia Department of Transportation says the safety of drivers is a #1 priority and is taking measures to create safer roadways. One UGA outreach unit focuses the issue of driver safety on teen drivers. The Georgia Traffic Injury Prevention Institute addresses teenage traffic fatalities by teaching parents and their teen drivers safe driver habits. Don Bauer, the project director of the institute, says typical driver's education courses lack effective parent-to-child communication, and this program is doing something to solve that.
We bring the parents and teens back together and we actually go through a contracting process where they write down their agreements, their consequences, and they both sign off on that contract. We do a mailed survey 1 year, or 6 months and 1 year after the course, and we're getting very positive feedback from those surveys.
The Institute offers these services in 2-hour, 1-day courses. They are intended for drivers between the ages of 14 and 16, but anyone is welcome to attend. A steady increase in the number of traffic fatalities may mean that Georgia will have its first increase in yearly fatalities after a 9-year decline. The Department of Transportation reports the reasons for these increased numbers are distracted drivers. Traffic fatalities are on the rise because drivers are talking on the phone, texting, adjusting the radio, using GPS, putting on makeup, eating, or daydreaming while behind the wheel. The Department of Transportation is responding to the issue with its Drive Alert, Arrive Alive campaign. Georgia drivers can join the campaign by pledging to buckle up, not text and drive, and driving alert.
One new transit company that is committed to safety and sustainability on campus is Gotcha. Find out how they are helping students get from point to point on campus after this break.
Hey, this job looks perfect. It says you need people skills.
Check.
Driver's license.
Check.
And a high school diploma. You've got one of those, right?
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
I got that.
You are good to go.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of this born racer having 157 career top 10 finishes in NASCAR? 1 in 125 billion. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm NASCAR driver Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
A new free riding service called Gotcha is attracting both riders and drivers on campus. Reporter S.K. Bowen went out there to get a closer look at the success of the environmentally friendly vehicle.
Yes, Ms. Sarah, I was able to ride on the new Gotcha vehicles, and once students figured out about this new service, they became ecstatic. You're probably as confused as this student. It's not a bus, it's not an Uber, it's Gotcha Rides. This is a free transportation service for students and faculty. It's free because of 2 reasons: the advertisements on the side and drivers like Adam Barth who drive for free.
I'm here because I kind of want to help students get around campus safely in a very green manner.
So you can call a Gotcha driver through the Gotcha Ride app. So once you call a Gotcha driver, what do you see on your app?
So it's basically like Uber. When you need to confirm that you're going to need a ride, you basically just tell the app that you need a ride, and the app will pinpoint your location, and then the driver will see that you need a ride and confirm that they're coming to get you. So you'll be able to see where they are, and they'll see where you are.
Yeah.
We hit the road to see what fellow students think of Gotcha Rides.
Service for students and faculty.
Oh my, y'all ride on the weekends?
Yes, we do. It's
Like,
from
how late?
It's from every day from 7 to 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. So 7 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Ew, what have we been doing? Why have we been paying for Uber?
These two are especially thankful for Gotcha. They said they have been waiting at a bus stop for 20 minutes. Buses run less frequently at night, which makes Gotcha's hours very convenient for students on campus at later hours.
Thanks for the ride.
Gotcha hopes to attract more outgoing and motivated drivers to create a safe peer-to-peer driving experience. But like any new service, you have to work out your kinks.
Kinks firsthand during the ride-along, right, SK?
Yes, while the drivers were switching spots, one of them kicked a button under the seat, which turned off the golf cart for over 10 minutes.
Kian says the company is committed to transporting passengers safely with the sustainability in mind. In fact, Gotcha stands for Green Operated Transit, carrying humanity around. The cars are 100% battery operated and get their power from the charging stations at the Tate Student Center parking decks. On a full charge, they can run for hours at a time and go up to speeds of more than 20 miles per hour. Gotcha Rides aren't the only new environmentally conscious transportation system on campus. UGA Campus Transit has recently been testing electronic buses on its system, cycling through new routes this week. UGA hopes to incorporate these buses by 2017. Kian says she hopes to work in conjunction with Campus Transit to provide maximum support for students. But unlike Uber, which operates in downtown Athens, Gotcha Rides can only be taken while traveling to and from spots on campus. Here are some of the places where you can be picked up for a free ride. It's everywhere from the freshman dorms on West Campus to family housing near Millage Avenue, all the way to East Campus Village and even the intramural fields. Though Gotcha is not allowed to operate outside of campus, Kian told reporter S.K. Bowen that drivers can drop riders near downtown.
We can't go on Broad Street, but we can stop at the Holiday Inn the parking lot next to the Holiday Inn. That's as close as we can get to downtown.
Gotcha operates 7 days a week from 7 o'clock at night to 2 o'clock in the morning.
Some people who won't need rides are those running in the Ath Half Marathon this Sunday. I'm Claudia Kelly, and find out how they have prepared for the race after this break.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Thanks for coming in for the interview.
Oh, yeah, of course.
All right, we got your personal references, your resume, high school diploma or equivalent.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Yes, it's right there.
Great.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Thousands of athletes from across the country will take part in the Athens Half Marathon this Sunday. 2,500 runners from 26 states will fill the 13.1-mile course, and reporter Corey Knapp details the preparation for this grueling race.
The Ath Half is not something you can just roll out of bed and run. It takes months of training and planning. And this week, those efforts have kicked into a higher gear. One lap around this track equals 1/8 of a mile. If you're training for a half marathon, you'll have to stride out over 100 more of them. Only a few short days remain until the race, and runners are doing all they can to have their bodies in the best condition for Sunday morning.
What I've learned is you really got to work on your flexibility. It's not just about putting miles in or just running. It's about doing lots of other things, because running is great for your body, but it's only in one direction.
You need to make sure you really focus on your long runs, add a mile every week, and aside from that, like do short little track workouts for 40 minutes, kind of getting your speed, and then just medium length runs just to kind of build up your endurance.
And while runners like Steve and Nicole train, Ath Half race director Jill Helm works to finalize that everything and everybody are in the right place on race day.
A lot of it comes down to the logistics as well as all of the different products that we're going to need, making sure that the cups, the power, the water aid, the medals, the food for the hospitality, the bands are all in place, the equipment that the bands are going to need to perform.
The final stretch of the half marathon will finish at Sanford Stadium, which is very special to many of the participants.
It is perfect that it ends at the stadium because it's that much more like motivation, kind of like to finish.
It's the best because it's like, wow, I'm inside, you know, you're usually up in the stands looking down. I'm down at ground level looking up, and it's pretty cool. I think it's the coup d'etat of half marathons.
Steve's longtime goal is to finish in under 2 hours, while Nicole will be happy to just cross the finish line. And it's the preparation of people like them, as well as volunteer organizers, that leaves only one way to describe the Ath Half.
The Ath Half is such an Athens-y thing.
And it feels, no other way to describe it, it feels very Athens-y in its approach and its community commitment and support of the event, and the way that people come out and cheer.
The race will start bright and early at 7:30 a.m. on Sunday morning, but unfortunately I am not brave enough to run. Live from the newsroom, Corey Knapp, 570 News.
Thank you, Corey. Sunday's forecast is expected to provide nice weather for the event's runners and spectators. The Ath Half Marathon isn't the only thing you can do this Sunday. First Presbyterian Church will have its annual pre-race service at 6:30 a.m. Runners even from out of town will walk through these doors to fill Fellowship Hall. Roughly 2/3 of the people that attend aren't even from Athens. They'll pass the 10-mile pumpkin patch mark and will see the church's volunteers at Memorial Hall handing out water before they run their lap inside Sanford Stadium.
Many people have told us that it's one of their favorite parts of the morning, that it felt really spiritual and a meaningful way to approach the day. And whether it's somebody's first marathon or they're planning to win it and run, in barely an hour, we've had people here of all levels of runners, and people just enjoy the quiet time and the inspiration before setting out on the race.
The church has told runners to attend service in sneakers and running shorts and are even planning to have extra aisle space for those who want to stand and stretch during the service. With the race just around the corner, here's how you can learn to be just as healthy as these Ath Half runners. The Classic Center will host a health and fitness expo for anyone interested this Saturday. There will be demonstrations of fitness products and merchandise at discounted prices. If you're feeling up for a last-minute challenge, you can even sign up for the race at the expo from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. And the best part is, the expo is free.
Before you go to the Classic Center's Health Expo, be sure to run over to Chick-fil-A on Barnett Shoals Road and check out what they're doing to help the community. I'm Jane Moe, and I'll have all the details for you after this break.
My new mom and I have a lot in common.
The great outside.
We both love the outdoors.
So shiny.
That's not a flower. We both love geology.
Oh, look. An igneous one.
That's not a rock. And she knows a lot about wildlife.
A labradoodle.
That's not a dog. Hanging out has been kind of fun.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Maybe he's really focused.
Hey, Michael. Michael. Maybe he likes spinning the wheels.
Maybe he just loves trucks.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Preoccupation with objects is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
A popular food chain known for its commercials is trying to do more for the community than just fill stomachs and save cows. Reporter Ryan Sander is there to see just how they did it.
The Chick-fil-A in Barnett Shoals is with their biggest philanthropy week of the year, and they're hoping to give back with some friendly competition.
Chick-fil-A is a frequent eating spot for college students in Athens, but these students are here for more than just the chicken. With the milkshakes set up and the fry toss lines drawn, the food relay is ready to begin. This relay is one of many events being held this week for Chick Philanthropy, an annual week-long competition for several philanthropies on campus.
I just really want to support our community, UGA, since we're in a college town, that's what we're here for, to support them.
There are 7 philanthropy groups from the University of Georgia participating in the competition. These philanthropies support causes all throughout the state of Georgia, from helping sick kids at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta to the fight against cancer. These students have been earning points for their organization this week by participating in events such as a window painting contest, the food relay, and a dunk tank. Points from each event go towards each philanthropy's total. In years past, Chick-fil-A would only hand out a single $1,000 donation to the winning team, but this year, no organization will go home empty-handed.
we can't obviously give everyone $1,000. That's what the winning person gets, but we want to support however we can. So it starts at $1,000 and works its way down to $25 is what last place gets.
With every organization getting some form of a donation, Haley hopes that it will encourage more involvement in each event. James Gillespie, an executive member of UGA Heroes, sees this event as a special opportunity for UGA to come together to help the common good.
To have us all come together in a friendly competition is really important and really cool that we can do that without having tension and without people butting heads. And so I think it's a great thing that Chick-fil-A does, bringing us all together.
Every dollar spent at Chick-fil-A this week has been translated into a point for one of the 7 philanthropies. All these points will be tallied up for the teams by 10 o'clock tonight.
The winner of Chick-Philanthropy Week will be announced on Instagram tomorrow at Athens_CFA. Other groups have also been raising money outside of Chick-Philanthropy. Sigma Phi Epsilon held their annual haunted house event this week. It was a collaborative effort of 17 Greek organizations. Each sorority got the chance to design a room for the tent. Admission fee was $5, and the event sold t-shirts and hot chocolates throughout the night. Sigma Phi Epsilon believes it's important for students to give back to their communities.
In college, a lot of college is about yourself. It's about finding out what you want to do in life, seeing what you're going to be like later on. But when you can focus a part of yourself on other people, like through philanthropy stuff, I think you grow a lot, and it gives you more of a purpose to work for something other than, just a test grade.
All proceeds are going to UGA Miracle, a student-run nonprofit organization that focuses on helping Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Although Chick-Philanthropy Week is over, organizations are not finished raising money for their causes. UGA Miracle is holding a trunk or treat event Sunday at 6 o'clock in the parking lot of Varsity. UGA Cure is also having an event on Sunday from 2 to 4 o'clock p.m. at Washington Farms. Next week, UGA Relay for Life is having a breast cancer awareness event on Tuesday at 6:30 on Brumby Lawn.
Find out next how locals are reacting to Playboy eliminating nudity. I'm Caitlin Long, and I'll have a story for you after the break.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you?
You know you do. Yeah, but I don't know where to start.
That's why we're here. We're free, handsome.
I think we're breathtaking.
And here to guide you through every step of the way, starting with attendance. Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. I got this. Is that Bran? Colleges love extracurricular activities.
Chess really isn't my thing.
I got this. Doesn't matter. Go ahead. Picking a college, man. You and us. We go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos.
Fire and ice.
Those don't really go together.
Go to GetSchooled.com for more info.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, excuse me, sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If the door's locked, knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't stare, don't use bad language, or talk with your mouth full. Keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
Don't interrupt. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give your seat up to anybody who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you want to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
Good talk.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Local experts and feminist groups say Playboy's removal of nude photos is a good thing for both women and Playboy. Reporter Cameron Martinez looked into these reactions and why locals are excited about this change.
It's not every day that feminist groups and Playboy agree on something, but according to the Feminist Scholar Association of UGA, Playboy's new policy is going to have a positive change for women.
It makes sense for them, and the goal of their magazine seems to be just to take celebrities and to allow them to kind of show off their sexuality in a very blatant way. And I think that they'll still be doing that without showing the nudity.
Members of the organization who organized free pizza and a movie for the event said that Playboy as a concept is not the issue.
I think Playboy, like the concept of a porn magazine, inherently is not sexist. The only sexist thing would be that up until this point, there have been so many more pornographic images of women than men.
Despite social pressure from organizations such as FISA, experts such as UGA professor Janice Hume believe that the change was more due to economic reasons.
So that little niche that made Playboy special, in that was the place you go to see these, photos, doesn't exist anymore. And so Playboy is having to undergo the difficult transition of trying to say, okay, well, who is our niche audience now? So this is a traditional Playboy content, but here's something that's quite visually appealing.
Hume goes on to say that while these changes show a change in target audience, the social impact is not to be ignored.
I think that we are a society that understands the damaging effects of the exploitation of women, and I think Playboy has been guilty of that.
Playboy's subscriptions have dropped from millions of subscriptions to just over 800,000 in just a few short years. Many experts are saying that Playboy's niche in the market is on its way out the door, and other magazines similar to Playboy may follow suit.
As for FSA, the club's leaders are planning events to help women sinners downtown. UGA students have their own thoughts about Playboy magazine's new decision. Reporter Daniel Lewan found most of them aren't consumers, but are shocked by the removal of the nude photos.
Playboy is not printing nude photos anymore. How do you feel about that?
As a female, I definitely feel like we're getting more respect and more attention.
It might as well be Vogue. If he's not going to be naked, girls, why you do it?
As someone who's not particularly interested in what Playboy has to offer, I'd say is pretty cool.
It's not Playboy. That's what you buy Playboy for, to see the nude magazine.
I mean, we all know the reason why folks buy it, so.
When I think Playboy, I think Hugh Hefner and naked women.
Now that Playboy is not printing nude photos in their magazines anymore, will you be a consumer of this magazine?
I will not.
No, probably not. I never really was in the first place.
I definitely believe in using my money for something more,
Thank you for watching Mock Show 570.
Stay tuned for our post-show critique. Good night.
Grady Newsource is a student production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours.
A march from Selma to Montgomery.
Selma is loud for every man, woman, and child.
We will not wait any longer.
In front of a crowd.
And I have seen the glory. Glory, glory, hallelujah.
Okay, Simon, what do people wear?
Clothes.
That's right, so it's important to learn how to dress yourself. Here's how it's done. Shirt, underwear, pants, socks, shoes. Underwear, always first, name tag on the back. Then pants and shirt. Go ahead and put this on. Now with the shirt, you want to make sure the first button's right or you have to start all over again, okay? Socks left on left, right on right. Tying the shoes, we're gonna take the laces, we're gonna cross them over, we're gonna turn around where the bunny goes down in the hole, pull it tight, and bunny ears. Got it?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Hey, Gabby, how you doing? How was the play date and sleepover?
Dad, it was great.
Awesome. Okay, I'm on my way. Hey, guys, what are you doing?
We're going swimming. We're going biking. Yeah!
I'll see you in a little bit, guys. I love you.
Hi, babe. How was school today?
Hi, Dad. It was great.
Okay, honey. I'll be home soon. Remember, you're never too far away from your kids to be a dad. Reach out and take a second to check in, because sometimes the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Post-show critique. I'm Jackson Smith, standing in for Luke Vaughn. I'll Michael Cassingera. Okay. You should feel pretty good. You've had 2 under your belt, 2 pretty decent shows. I want to go over some of the details of it, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But the first thing is I want to turn it over to the senior producer.
Yep. So, hey, I'm Jared Sweat. So today's show, I don't really know what happened. I mean, it was somewhere on my end. I'm pretty sure, so I'll take the blame for it. But we started out the show like really light. I think we were like 30 seconds light or something like that. And then I don't know how it happened along the way. We were like 40 seconds heavy going into the E block. I don't know what happened. I don't know if like packages actually ran a little bit longer than what people had said, or if I put the time in wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, let's double check that, because the issue becomes, we're sort of sitting there, we came in light, we're picking up time, and that's fine, we can make adjustments. But it really is a shame that, if the timing is off, that means we kill somebody's work. And, the local media reaction piece that you went out and, busted your chops to do doesn't get aired, and that's why it's so critical that the times and the communication are pretty close to exact. And remember, when you're doing the VOSOT, what you'll see up in the CAN system, it'll tell you the time, but then you have to add in what the SOT is, okay? And the same thing when you're doing the package. You say, okay, here's the package, now add the ins and outs of the remote, so that we did that. And we did that to some extent, but obviously, and I've got to believe it's in the D block, because we went into the end of the C block about 30 light, and we came out of the D block 40 heavy.
Which we also, I think we entered the D block 4 seconds light.
Yeah.
So I mean, it happened somewhere in there. So I don't.
Just take a look, okay?
Yeah,
Jane, Ryan, take a look and see what happened. Let's just figure it out, okay? That's the one we want to protect, because, again, it's the issue of that's a half hour, and everybody's busted butt for it. So let's see what we can do to keep them. So we don't want to do it. We can make slight adjustments, but that was a pretty major one.
Yeah, and he had a good thought. I didn't even think of that. If you don't put how long your SOT is, CAN won't make that adjustment, and it'll be like, oh, okay, well your VOSOT's actually, it's just 40 seconds when your SOT is 15 seconds, and that's where we can make up that time. So if y'all did that, then good for you. But I mean, it's something to take note of. So as far as us being heavy, I'll take the blame for that. But I had a few notes, but I'll let you go first.
Well, I mean, let's do your notes. Let's do an overview, and then I want to go through the individual packages. The biggest issue is you're getting the pieces done, okay? You're getting a pretty clean newscast on air, and the content's getting better, the writing's getting better. Obviously, we keep each week raising it a little bit higher, raising the bar a little bit higher, and a little bit higher, and that's what we want to try and do, so that, we're getting to a point that, this may be self-flattery, but you guys are getting a newscast that's competitive to what Newsource is doing, and that's good. Now, the big issue is, we've got 2 issues, which is the technical side, okay, and that's where you guys got to master all of it, know that inside and out. Then the biggest one is the writing and producing of the pieces and the news making, and that's the one issue that you really got to hit heavily.
Yep. Kind of going like a little in detail of what he just said. I mean, it's essentially about making Shumway happy. I mean, that's about what it comes down to. I saw a few out of focus shots.
Yeah, we saw a lot. For some reason, 2 interviews. We had the interview during the and it sounds like you guys must be sexist, because both of the really soft focus interviews were with the 2 women. In the CFA Chick-fil-A thing, that woman was really soft in the ath half. The student swimmer was really soft, okay? I mean, they were just blurred out, and that shouldn't be happening.
Another thing is, and I mean, I know it's hard to shoot stand-ups sometimes, but don't be an ant on stand-ups. I think, yeah, you're doing stand-up. Like, you're standing with this background right here, you don't want to look like that. Yeah. I mean, it's just something to work on. You know, get better at it.
So I have a quick questions about stand-ups. We're entering the package with the reporter being in the newsroom. I can't remember if you said, does it matter if they're doing a stand-up throughout? Does it look like they're in the newsroom and then they disappear to somewhere else and then they're coming back?
The people understand that you go out to get the story.
Okay. Okay.
One thing, and quite frankly, I also wanted to do the stand-ups because that's the practice of being illustrated.
Okay.
I mean, you did a nice stand-up. There was a nice stand-up in terms of. It's not working. It died. Okay. Oh. So.
Good thing we have 3.
Yeah, good thing we have 3. Yeah, so I want you to do the stand-ups.
Okay.
And the viewers accept that. They understand. The only thing that's really bad is if you are doing the newsroom remote and you're wearing one thing and then in the stand-up you're wearing something totally different.
Okay.
Because then they go, hold on, are they a Playboy centerfold or what? Why did they, change clothes so dramatically?
Okay.
So that
was just confusing because I wasn't sure. I feel like I heard you say, why would you be in there if you're already in the newsroom?
No, the only one I think you have is sometimes you guys were putting the stand-ups and they were like right at what we did, which was the mistake is previous week we did a stand-up at the front. Well, yeah. Well,
everybody
actually,
turns their head.
Today we came close to doing a stand-up at the end, right? And the same thing. I can't do the stand-ups front and back because it's like, I'm sorry, I just did a travel through the time warp.
Okay, that's what
That's
Thanks.
what you got to be careful.
Yeah. Another thing is, and this is something like I think we did. This is a good and bad thing. Good thing because we all got our videos turned in for the majority of us. We got our videos turned in really early, and I know I appreciate that. The show staff appreciates that, and it makes everyone's lives easier, including y'all's.
And that is going to be critical for the next 4 months. The small tree server is down. As you know, I've created a OneDrive folder, and that's where we'll post. I'll have to clean that up, and then you can post back into that. But because of the way the system is, it takes them 30 minutes. Once I post it, it takes them up to 30 minutes to drop everything back into the playback machine. So the earlier you get it in, the less danger there is.
Yeah, and with that being said, the negative side of it, watch your nat sound levels. I know sometimes it is difficult, depending on what kind of headphones you're using to edit, and we're all in a time crunch to get this all dropped, get it dropped early, go ahead and finish everything else. But definitely watch nat sound levels because, it'll make you look bad because it's like you're telling this awesome story that you worked so hard to write, and a sound of a car in one of your VOs is just through the roof, and you can't hear anything you're saying. So help yourselves essentially. So just watch your nat sound levels.
A couple of mechanical issues that I didn't bring up, and I'll take the blame for this. So mea culpa to everybody. All anchors, we do an anchor intro at the front. Okay. You introduce yourself. The style will be when you do the tease, you do at half, we're coming up, there's a big marathon, a lot of stuff happening. Hi, I'm Michael Castigero. I'm going to have that up after the break, okay? Tease, anchors, tease in the tease. Introduce yourselves in the tease. And reporters sig out in the newsroom, okay? So live in the newsroom, I'm Peter Pan, 570 News, all right? And let's do that. The only time you don't do a sig out in the newsroom is if there's Q&A back and forth. Then I don't need it because then it's more natural and just have a conversation. But normally you'll sig out in the newsroom.
Yeah. That was my last note. So other than that, I can't really think of any overarching issues.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I've got. Again, I like the illustrative stand-up. You did a nice one in the driver safety thing.
That was really good.
Yeah. Shoot those, and that really makes a huge difference. And I think I've told you the story. When I first got into television, hell, for the first 6 months, I never did a stand-up because I was a reporter, never knew what the heck it was. So it's really important. The viewers want to see it, but use it for illustration. Don't just stand out there in the middle of the field doing something. Actually show me doing something. A little more dress up a little bit, okay? I expect everybody to be dressed up. I'm sitting here in a little bit more casual outfit, but I've got in my office a complete set, and Jackson will never make it on air with that outfit.
I dressed up,
Yeah, I can tell you have. Compared to what you normally do, yes, that is dressed up.
Well, you see, one time Jake Lieber told me when I was supposed to host post show that I could not wear this shirt, and he's not here, so I wore this shirt. It has a cat on it.
And I can see why he said not to wear the shirt. You can get off camera now.
Bye.
But I've got a spare, and the other thing is that you can do, and you will do it more when you're in Newsource, we do have a wardrobe room across the way, okay? And that's a makeup room, and I encourage you to be there, okay? And take use of it. Next thing is, yeah, for some of you to may be in there longer than others. But the other one is, as you go on, okay, segment producers, your responsibility to get people's butts in chairs. I expect those anchors in chairs. I expect those reporters in chairs. And again, we had a little issue about getting mics and stuff. Folks, I say this all the time. If it's my face on air, I'm going to make damn sure that I'm protected. I'm going to check with the director that they've got the shot. I'm going to make sure that they've got a mic check and everything else. They'll do that 90% of the time, but you're going to get caught that one time and it's just off, okay? So, and that primarily is a segment producer issue. Gnats. That, you guys went out and did a lot of good stuff. Natural sound, use it up full. Take me there, let me see it, feel it. You did that, again, the Chick-fil-A entropy, and you had all those people out there laughing and scratching, having a good time, but they were, you know, all a bunch of deaf mutes because I didn't hear a single thing the whole time. In the microphone.
All right, so I reported that one. A reason some of the Nat sound was next to impossible to hear for some of those was I was using the camera mic, and the whole entire time the relay was going on, people were yelling their heads off. So like it was above audio level the whole time. So if I would have had any audio in it,
take it up full. That's what I'm saying. I want to see the person go in there. The guys, you know, you had the guys eating and doing some stuff. Yeah, no, what you do is you allow it up full. It was like, you know, they all gathered out there and they were having a good time. And I hear all these guys go, woo, 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 holy crap, whatever the heck, okay? Just like that.
I guess the issue I was getting with it was so loud that the audio wasn't clear enough, like at all on the picking up from the mic. It was over, so it just sounded like staticky almost. It was so high.
Okay, were you listening when you hear it?
When I was editing it, or
no, when you shot it?
When I shot it?
Yeah, I mean, again, what you want to do is you want to monitor it. The bottom line is you need to have the net sound.
All right.
Okay, take me there. Let me hear it.
I will
okay?
do better next time.
Yeah, just watch for it. Yeah, and that goes. I mean, not just for you. You just got lucky. I picked on you. I'll pick on you more. But the issue is for all of you. There was a couple of pieces I'm looking at and going, all right, let me hear it. You know, one of the things you got, and especially when you're doing the features, you know, half and all the others, you got some nice stuff in there. The natural sound gives me the sense of being there. You guys, the nice part of our business is you guys are getting to do things that, you know, students in your group don't ever get to do. They're all sitting there in some bloody library at the damn, you know, Terry College, you know, reading books and doing boring crap. Sorry, guys. You know, whereas you're doing something, but you can take people there. That's one of the keys. Take them there.
And I know, like, not necessarily in your case, because I mean, you could have adjusted it, whatever. But I mean, remember on the cameras that Shumway showed us, you know, you can like go in the settings, like you can go all the way down and like adjust the audio gain or whatever. Like if something's too loud, I mean, you can adjust it that way too. I know when Jane and I went and shot something yesterday, there were like parts of it that were like way too loud, and we had to bring it down. So I mean, you can manually adjust it on the camera if it is like overmodulated, or vice versa. If it's too soft, you can boost it. So
yeah,
just keep that in mind.
Just, you know, what you want to do is just bring it up. Again, we had some nice pieces. I want to give all of you a little chance to talk about it, the reporters in particular. Let me say one thing that's a little different. We ended with that student reactions, and I'll tell you, normally I do not like MOS, okay? And I'm going to discourage any MOS because, quite frankly, I can go out and get those people to say anything in the world. And it's not scientific surveying, it's not anything, but this one worked because it was just kind of cute, and it was a good idea and executed, and I thought it was a nice way to end. And especially because it ended the newscast. I would have been less if I was trying to do a hard news thing on Playboy and I put it in the first block, yeah, I would have some question at that point. But as a newscast ender, it was a nice way, it was cute, and all the students had some fun things to say. Use a stick, that's the only one, yeah.
Hey, sorry, what is MOS, just to clarify?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Man on the street.
I'm sorry. A man on the street. In
Yeah.
other words,
Oh, okay.
when a lot of people in the news will, guess what? I'm light. I don't have much content. I'll go out and interview a bunch of people. And what do you think about Joe Biden? What do you think? And all that crap. That's not anything ever used. This one, it was just a cute little effect. But yeah.
Yeah,
So you
and
didn't have a stick?
Well, he did. Sonny showed me how to use it, and we had it all hooked up before I left and went over to Tate. And then once we got over there, for some reason, the stick, maybe it was on my end, but I could not get the audio levels to pick up, and we were on such a time crunch that we just went for it.
Yeah,
But
I mean, there's reasons. The key is that you were trying, so that's good. Do test all the equipment. I will tell you this also. If I pick up the stuff from Sonny, I test everything and look at it, and I hear it, and I shoot. It'll take you 3 or 4 minutes, but unfortunately, because there's so little equipment and so many of you, you're going to pick up the one that, guess what? Taman basically screwed the piece of equipment up, and she turned it back in and didn't tell anybody, and you're the one going to get screwed. And I just picked on her because she was in front.
How dare you?
So that's, I would encourage you to post all your stories to the website. Because of the small tree problems and some of the other issues, I haven't been able to get the newscasts and everything downloaded and posted, but I will get them posted to the website hopefully over the next, depending on what happens with our server. That server is out for the rest of the semester as far as we can tell. So, we're going to end up buying a new one or doing something over the Christmas break, so when you guys come back, it'll be fine. But we've got some issues that probably impact us as much as anything. As long as I've got that OneDrive folder, we're okay, and we can do stuff with it. But that's just an issue to be aware of.
So we're out of all stock raw footage, all that stuff that was on that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know 100%. Chris, to his credit, is trying to see what he can do to resurrect. I would like to see that. Do look at the CNN Newsource stuff.
Oh, yes,
It's
okay.
another option for you.
All right,
And we'll look. Thanks for the reminder. I'll send a note to Chris and ask about that.
Because the goats played a good role last week, so.
Beg your pardon?
The goats from last week, that's where we got that. So we'd be lost without small
and there is, that's the nice thing. All the Newsource ones, and I mean, again, I give Shumway the credit on this. I mean, that son of a gun busted his butt to get all this stuff posted, and it's, we've got video from the last 3-4 years of every story done, and there aren't many they miss, so that gives you a lot of resources.
Yeah.
Agreed. So, yeah, I'll make a note about that. So why don't we do this? Let's go around the room. Producer, and you have the, let's go reporter to reporter. Talk about what you liked about the story and what you would do, what you liked about what you did and what you might do different.
All right. Well, if I miss anything.
Yeah, just start with Abby. Let's start with the driver safety.
Okay.
Give her a mic. You got one.
Yeah. Okay. So I think my biggest thing is I wish that maybe I had talked to more people that had been affected by driving safety issues, just to get more of a variety of opinions. I liked the girl I talked to, and she had a really interesting story. I just wish maybe I had heard from more people and made it more.
I'm not as worried about that. You had the one good person, okay?
Okay.
And she was good, and so that's fine. Sometimes we scoop up all of them, and my issue is I want to hear from a person who's actually touched by it, and then will touch me, the viewer in turn, and that becomes the issue.
Okay, my other thing is, just as a whole, I think I have like a very set idea of what a package is supposed to, layout's supposed to be, and I think I need to work on maybe being more creative with that and moving around, because you helped me and you were like, yeah, you can start it with a soundbite. I didn't know that I could do that, and it really helped improve my package as a whole to move stuff around like that. So I need to work on that and sort of figure out different ways I can do that.
Yeah.
But
if you do it, and again, if you do a self-contained, there are times where if I've got great video and closing video, heck yeah, I'm going to go to the video. But if I'm doing a reporter wraparound, which is what we are normally doing, I can go into and out of a soundbite. It really depends on your video. But if I've got good video, quite frankly, we'll do the pieces where the anchor will throw to the package because I've got great video. I want to get to it as fast as possible, and I will live tag it with the reporter instead. It all depends on what the video is, but yeah, you've got a lot more flexibility in terms of doing that. Opening and closing shots really become, every time you shoot, and I'm assuming at some point Shumway said this to you, you know, when I go out and shoot, I'm sitting there going, what is my opening shot, closing shot? What is my opening, what is my closing? What's most illustrative of it? Cool.
Yeah.
All right, SK.
All right,
Yeah, it's
so
a microphone.
all right, so the two things about my package was the Gotcha rides, and probably the thing that drove me the most crazy in my package was my stand-up. It was very stage looking and it was too long. So maybe like next time I need to think of stand-ups beforehand and be a little more creative with those. A second thing probably, which was it's really hard to help this, but my shots were really bumpy and everything, but we were like riding in a car, but that did drive me crazy that everything was like this the whole time.
And that didn't bother me as much because of the fact that I know what you're doing, right? And again,
Yeah.
when I say I'm talking as a viewer. The viewer's not as upset because they understand you're in a car, it's jumping around, and it's not exactly, you know, a Cadillac Lincoln type of vehicle. It's a little bloody runaround, okay? And so that's fine. Stand-ups, yeah, think in terms of, that magic word I use is illustrative. What can you do to show me there exactly what's happening? And that becomes it. But you had some nice shots inside, and those close-up shots of the people's faces really made a big difference. It was like, that's cool, and I give you credit for going out and doing that, you know? And they were all having a great time and thinking, oh, dang. And then they found a camera facing them. My God, scared the hell out of them. The one on that one, and this happened to a lot of the news writing, I will say, is new. New, thank you. Good, got the cue, that's great. That becomes critical, because we said, you know, service got your ride, it started last week. Well, no kidding, you know. But you had student reaction, so what is it that's new and different that you can tell me? Cool.
Okay. Yeah, I also want to give credit to Michelle because she drove around with me. She's the one that was holding the light the whole entire time.
Oh, man.
So that helped out a lot. Could not have done it without her. So.
Cool. All right. At half. Corey?
Okay, so no one was more upset than me that swimmer was out of focus because she was beautiful and her eyes were so just beautiful that I'm ashamed that I couldn't get her eyes in focus, which like really upset me. I understand that.
Yeah, I know, really. Yeah, I'm having sort of the same reaction. What was her name again?
Nicole Vernon.
Nicole, we're sorry. But I wouldn't date him anyway. Okay?
Cool. Yeah. But I was really upset about that.
Why's your face so red, Corey?
And then I want to say, when you're going out and shooting B-roll, to shoot more than you think you'll need, because I thought I had plenty, and Zach saved me and came through with some really good shots during the last interview we shot, and we used every single B-roll shot we had. So that really helped.
Yeah, I mean, you will have time constraints, but it's very hard to overshoot.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, I know you've done this with Shumway, but you're looking wide, medium, tight, wide, medium, tight. And I'm going to sit there and, quite frankly, I'm going to usually go medium, tight, back to medium, tight, and I'm going to just overshoot. Okay. But as I do it, you will develop the skill that you'll do visual storytelling in your head. And again, as I go out in the story, I always look and say, okay, remember that thing. What is my best opening shot? What is it that is so cool that'll grab somebody's attention? And then how do I bring it to close? Shave, by the way.
Okay.
Either grow something or don't grow. Wait. And a coat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah, you had Jared's coat.
Yeah, I was swimming in Jared's jacket.
Yeah, I know. Hi, I'm Corey.
I was like, it's gonna be too big. He's like, doesn't matter.
I didn't. Well, yeah, I mean, pretty much. I didn't think it was gonna matter. I thought, you know, like it was gonna like sit back and
No, it was fine.
Yeah, I mean, on different stories, you know, if you do something that's real light and you've done something that's a real, you know, if you ran the marathon, for instance, you'd be, yeah, that's like not going to happen.
No.
But if you did and you were involved and you were doing those, yeah, you can dress appropriately. But if you're anything approaching an office or looking like you're in an office setting and the newsroom is it, you're expected to look professional. Cool.
Alrighty.
All right.
And Zach did a great job with us all week. He was really proactive in wanting to help in any way he could.
We like proactive.
It was the sweater vest.
Chick-fil-A. Ryan.
Yo. So we already covered it a little bit before, but some of the issues with my side was definitely technical, and I didn't really notice it until I was in the newsroom today putting it all on the computer, which sucks. But at least with the focus with that girl, that food relay event was happening during a time when it was getting darker by the minute, so I guess that was probably something to do with it. It was all on me, not trying to make excuses or anything. As for the audio, Jared made a good point. I forgot that you can adjust the audio levels directly on the camera. I guess I thought more of that as with like hooking up a mic and doing a SOT rather than just B-roll nat sound. So I'll think of that next time. As for the package, I was happy with some of the B-roll sequences I could get in there.
Yeah, and you did have some good shots, and that was why it was a little disappointing, because you had this great scene, and I'm going, this looked like this was a really cool little event.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but you know what are you gonna do? Learn from your mistakes, live and learn, live and learn. But
that's why we call this a class.
yeah. So, yep.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's exactly right. And so you sort of sit there and say, that's why you'll notice the first couple of times we've done this, I sit there and say, okay, what did you walk away from this with? What is it? What was the number one lesson, the number two thing, number three thing that I'll do differently? And that's what we emphasize. So, okay.
Yep.
Cool. I mean, bluntly speaking, I'm sitting there saying the same thing. Oh, hell, I meant to tell you guys about the, intros and doing the tags. So I learned something. All right, Playboy. Boy, there's a misnomer. Cameron. Oh, just kidding.
Shot down. Shots fired. I guess I'll preface this by saying that one of the biggest issues that I've had with like both my package for Shundaway that me and Jordan are actually working on right now, and this one is demonstrating ideas on camera. Obviously, this package was never going to have excellent B-roll unless the feminist organization was actually picketing outside, UGA or whatever. But and the one shot that actually did look good on B-roll was her flipping through the pages, which I will totally credit Shumway on helping. So it's just that kind of thing of just showing people talk about these issues. Like, it works great as a thought, but it felt difficult to do with B-roll with it, especially. We didn't have a whole lot of people show up to the event with the Feminist Scholar Association, so it was difficult to get B-roll from them. And the only B-roll I was able to get was just her flipping through the pages for the other side. So, just for me, that was a pretty difficult thing for this package.
It would have had to have been handled delicately, but I might have shot more of those magazines. And quite frankly, with Adobe and some of the other stuff, you can crop it, cut it, cover it, and do some other things that you probably could have done a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
And that's where we start again thinking, okay, how am I best going to illustrate this? And with the Adobe Premiere thing, I mean, you've got all kinds of tools that you can pull on these things, and just think of that.
Yeah, I would definitely wish that my stand-up I had done what I did in my reporter thing and had the Playboy there with me in my stand-up. That's something that I just didn't think about. But, I mean, that's another way to illustrate during a stand-up to have it there. So I guess we live and learn.
Cool. I'll open the floor. Anybody else have comments, thoughts? Your first time going, for some of you, the anchoring and go in front of the camera, okay? That's always, you have such a look on your face. That's always a surprise for everyone, but that's part of the good experience where you sit there and say, okay, talk to me, remember that? Don't talk at me, talk with me, and do that. And my God, yes, we are coming up to a 1 minute time. So we got about 30 seconds left. Did you want to pop real quick?
Oh, I was just going to say, if you wanted, for me at least, I was trying to get creative and make a moving graphic off After Effects, but make sure you try to do that the day before, because the render time for me was around 5 hours, and that's just not going to cut it for 570 News. So plan ahead if you're trying to be creative.
Well, and you know what? You can give me some lessons on the After Effects too. I would like to, because that is a big tool. All right, Jared, you got the final word. That isn't it.
No, I thought everybody, from what I saw, for the most part, did a really good job working in teams. Again, I kind of touched on it last week, but I saw it again this week. So.
You did well too, buddy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thanks for watching. Good night. Bye. Yay. Turn it off. Really make it stop.
Yes, thank you, folks. That was good. Good night.